All right, blessed love family, that's right. Once again, you are in tune to Roots and Culture Radio right here on KWVA Eugene, 88.1 FM, KWVAradio.org, online, out nationally. Like I told you just a couple minutes ago, we have a very special guest in the station, the man who brought you those last two tunes off his album, Dedication. Man like Alcyon Massive up in the place. He's got a big show tonight. The place is going to be packed down at Cosmic. They got the full band, the Pleiadians, and the next Neil, I can't remember his name right now.
Neil Magicaro.
All right, there you go, up on the lineup same way. And I bet we'll hear more about that. But you already heard Alcyon's voice, so we don't want to hold him off any longer. And welcome to the program right now. Blessed love, King.
Blessed love. It's good
All
to
right.
be here.
So, yo, man, let's get right into that topic right there. We got a big show at Cosmic tonight. I know that Eugene's looking forward to it. It's been a little while since we've seen you around these parts. Tell us what we can expect at the show tonight at Cosmic.
Tonight we got the full band, Pleiadians. Got Scotty One on the drums. Got Atlas Lexington on the keyboards. We got Captain on bass. We got Matt Calkins from 11 Eyes and Marvelous We Tribe. Got Joe Froyen from the Joe Froyen Sextet or whatever that or trio, and then Cherry Pop and Daddies.
Yeah, man.
And anyway, we got new songs, old songs, everything in between. Just really looking forward to like sharing the vibes with Eugene tonight. It's a more of like a little intimate setting at the Cosmic venue.
It is. It's nice. It's good family vibes. All ages down there was a nice thing, I think. And they got some good vegetarian food, and it's not too much liquor vibes, and it's just a good scene all around. And hopefully the sound will be dialed in. I know they've been getting that more and more dialed in, but I know your band always comes proper with it. So even if Soundman doesn't have it perfect, you're going to sound perfect. So we love that.
Right on. Yeah, they do a good job.
That's what's up, man. So, yo, you got a new album on the way, right? Soul Science?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about what we can expect of the new album. I heard there's no reggae on this new album. What's up with that?
There's no reggae, proper reggae, like Jamaican style reggae, or that a Jamaica would be like, oh yeah, that's reggae.
Sure.
But there's always going to be a little bit of influence on there. But basically, I had a conversation with a certain prominent guitarist in the reggae scene.
True.
His name he'll remain nameless right now. And but on tour, he turns back to me and he kind of remarks about how. I should be myself, and I should try not to imitate other people.
Right.
And so we got into this reasoning about like reggae and, white European kids, imitating this Jamaican fashion or whatever. And It was a really interesting reasoning to be on the tour bus.
Yeah.
Anyway, it got me to meditate on like, well, what is me? If it's not, I thought I was being myself completely. And so I started meditating on that, and I was like, well, I was like, well, I'll just stop doing reggae for right now. I'll just try stopping to write in that fashion and go back more to my hip hop roots and delve more into.
So is that what we're gonna see on this album? Is a lot more hip hop vibes?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I know last time I talked to you, we were talking about some like funk and some different things. We're gonna see some of that.
There's gonna be some funk too. Yeah. I started trying to
up.
write a little more for a band, and I was like, well, I got these awesome horns, so line those up.
But hip hop, a lot of hip hop.
Yeah, definitely going back. I mean, everything before Dreaming the World Awake and Dedication, my underground albums before that were almost strictly hip hop.
Cool.
And so,
that's what we're seeing. And then as far as like instrumentals go, are we looking at like digital production or band production? Or?
Yeah, it's mostly digital. I switched over to a different program that kind of like allowed me to explore more in the electronic side of music.
Using Ableton now? Or
exactly.
Cool.
And it's a different world, and I feel really comfortable now after like 3 years of using it. But there's a blending. The thing is with Ableton, you can use organic instrumentation and start modulating that any way you want. So there's a lot of experimental vibes on the album.
So this album, I don't know if it's largely or mostly or partly self-produced then?
Yeah.
You've done a lot of the musical production on it.
Yes, as of right now, it's all myself.
Okay.
But I was at Tracktown Studios in Eugene, and I did some recording over there for one of the songs just to capture some organic sounds. So that was the first step. One of the songs, one or two of the songs might like the funky stuff. You gotta have the organic instrumentation.
Nice. That's what's up. Well, we're looking forward to that. Hip hop's an interesting topic now. You're doing more hip hop. You definitely got a specific flair, and maybe that's even something we could talk about the new album and about topics that you're bringing up in the new album. But I think anybody that's listened to your previous music knows that your spirit in a lot of ways is very earth grounded and at the same time cosmically grounded, I guess, too. Yeah. But you deal with topics of natural living and healthy lifestyles and things that are good for the environment and good for people. Mm-hmm. And those aren't always topics that we see in hip hop. What do you like? How do you define conscious hip hop?
That's something I've been meditating on, and I've had several conversations with different MCs over the past couple of years. But I've come to the place where I consider conscious hip hop as conscious, like truly conscious of where you're at in life. Yeah. And truly conscious of the reality taking place around you. And so that might not be like pure bliss and, right. The best co-op, and your wallet's full to make those awesome choices.
Right.
Sometimes that's not your reality. So I started to, make allowance, in my mind and in my heart of what conscious hip hop is. And that's kind of opened up a world for a lot more MCs that I normally wouldn't have listened to because they cuss a little more or whatnot.
Sure.
And
we're gonna see some cussing on the new album. Is that what you're saying?
No. I definitely, now I have my son's 4.5, and it's like I've got a lot of parents that are like, hey, thanks for not swearing on the album,
right.
And yeah, I kind of have to keep that. And I've learned it's almost like it's almost cooler to like just to leave that space, know.
Right.
People know what you're, nowadays it's like you don't really have to say the word or anything.
Exactly.
People do a little reverse record thing and you still know what the word is.
Right.
So although I do enjoy seeing kids censor themselves, like when on certain songs, like Strictly Medicinal,
right.
they'll be singing it to me and get to a certain line, and then they look at their parents, they don't say it,
So that's what's up, though. That's good.
Yeah, kids know it's good.
Are there other like you talk about the diversity of what consciousness means? Then are there other hip hop artists that you're really checking for right now?
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar. I mean, everybody's checking for him. And like even. Joey Badass, I would consider conscious in that sense. I mean, even though his video, I checked out Christ Conscious, and I was like, whoa. But I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I can't think. I've been checking out a whole slew of UK rappers, but I can't ever remember their names. But as far as conscious rappers, it's always just a few I check out at a time and kind of get deep into them. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, though.
That's cool. No, that was some names right there,
Yeah.
And then I hear you're kind of into some Atlanta trap scene. What's up with that?
Well, I like Vice journalism, like the Vice in YouTube. And I always check out what they have. Yeah, really interesting stuff. And so I was happy when they started the Noisy thing, where it was just music oriented.
Yeah.
And the Noisy Jamaica ones are awesome.
Right?
Those are amazing.
So if anybody hadn't seen those, check those out. Whole grip of like kind of cultural works. Well, Vice across the board, and then like Noisy Jamaica, you can see grip of things with like Chronics and a bunch of the reggae revival kind of scene down there.
That Chronics episode alone literally just like revived something within me when I watched that. I was like, oh my gosh, yes, like these kids are doing it. They're out there doing their works, beyond just the music. And anyway, so the Atlanta Trap Noisy episodes,
I
right?
Seen that one,
with like Gucci Mane, like all these guys, these characters. I've heard their names and everything, but I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, I got some big like MTV rap videos and things out there, but then they've been doing the trap thing.
Yeah, and I didn't really know. I know trap, the term, from like electronic music, but I didn't really ever know about it from what it came from.
Right.
And so it just started to amaze me that these guys are just so blatant about what they're doing, and as far as illegal trafficking and all that stuff, and just putting it on a record, making a video, like flashing their guns in the video. I'm like, wow. And then they get famous off this, and their whole plan is just like, and then people know it, it's like, it's not a secret at all, yet it continues. And I have none, like talk about the current state of hip hop or whatever, or like where this falls into conscious, what is conscious or whatever. Yes, these guys' argument of this is their reality, and they're just pointing out what daily life is to them and how they deal with it.
For sure.
Right on. what's interesting to me is the fact that it's allowed to a certain extent and promoted to the extent it is.
Right.
And it's like, if you're a kid growing up in an environment like that, and these guys are getting elevated to the points where they are, what choice do you have? I mean, of course you're going to do anything you can to do exactly what they did to get to that step. So to me, it's like, just it's like part of this grand whatever conspiracy, to like keep truly like I guess there's conscious music and there's like conscious music that elevates you, more spiritually conscious, kind of music. Right. And that's the stuff you just hardly ever hear on the radio. Once in a while you might, but so I just got fascinated by it. And so what I like to do is take the thing that's really good, what people like about it, which in my opinion are the beats, and playing something at 140 and cutting that, the half speed and going back and forth.
I thought you were going to start being like out front about your gangster lifestyle and try to like promote that. That's not what you're saying? The new album's not all guns and trafficking?
And Allison, my partner and mother of my beautiful boy, she turns to me the other day because I wrote a song, right? And I'll spit the lyric now, right? If you want. Can I do that?
Yeah.
It goes, damn right, I'm a trimming wizard. I'm a tripped out hippie with a pair of scissors. I'm a grown-ass man taking care of business. Shipping pounds out of town. Hurry now with the quickness. And she goes, that's not true, Charlie. and it's not. But I said, but that's what the guys do down there. Yeah. And they lie about it and fake it. And then they make a lot of money. So I was just figuring, well, it doesn't really hurt to do one song.
Across the board. I mean, that's been the thing, people. Lyrics, I mean, but that's not a problem, I don't think. I think that's the artistic license and not in like a funny kind of a way. Like the reality is from earliest days, poets and songwriters have had to step into other personality. You have a man talking from the perspective of like a beaten woman or something like that. It's the same thing. It's just sharing a perspective.
Yeah, and I definitely have, like, at this point, it's like occurred to me that I have a lot of friends, a lot of very close friends that have that lifestyle, and people that want to hate on that, it's like these people are moving something that's never killed anybody ever in the history of mankind, and it's medicine, and it's super sacred. So these people take on like a sacred duty to me.
True.
So if I could write a song, it's like the Trafico narco songs, of the Mexicans. It's the stuff you hear that's like some
norteño and thing.
But what they're saying in their lyrics is crazy.
Well, I was gonna bring that up actually when you were talking about the trap, because I know like a lot of the cartels, they got their like bands that represent their mafia or their crew.
Yeah.
And like if there's a hit out on somebody, like you listen to the latest release from that band,
right?
And you know the details on like what's up with that. And you've seen that in rap throughout the era days too. Yeah. And like the underground trap movement, same way. Like it's real street talk. It's not some pop music.
No, it's absolutely nuts to me. I mean, I grew up in the East Coast, and I saw a lot of things, but never like that kind of stuff.
True. Yo, man, speaking of some trap, we're getting some
I think
crazy
it's a trap party downstairs.
Yeah. That's what's up. Yo, man, and as we're kind of talking about the music, and we've talked about the album and those things, this album, you're talking about a lot of digital production. It's in the computer, and we see you occasionally do DJ shows, and then of course a lot of the people that have seen you at festivals or other places have seen the full band experience. How does that all fit together for you? Do you like one better than the other, or what's your thought on it?
Well, and I hope Scotty's listening, because he has his opinions on live drumming versus drum machines. Sure. But as just a musician and somebody that's always toyed around with, sampling and stuff from the first time I could get my hands on turntables and a little 12-second sampler on my crossfader, it's something that I love. I mean, I've come to consider producing beats and stuff and sampling and using that's my yoga. Right. It's truly my union with the divine, and I hope that stuff. I think that's why it has the effect that it does on certain people. It's really where it's at for me. So I'll always continue exploring those realms, whether through like the spaceship set, DJ set, MIDI and stuff like that. And I'll always employ a full band. Right. Like those are two things that I'll always do. I think that right now it's and all respect, enough respect to DJs worldwide for everything they do, real DJs, that have some records experience and stuff like that. But the argument of a club owner these days of saying, well, check it out, I pay this guy $400 and my club is packed and people love it from start to finish. He can even play songs that there's no set list, people can be like, I want to hear a song. You can be like, word, here's that song.
Sure.
So I understand that versus a band that could be potentially $1,500, $2,000.
Should be. I mean, you gotta, the economics better than any of us, but that's the reality. When you got 5 musicians and a singer, maybe another person on the road with the people, hotels, money to send home. $1,500 is light. Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, a lot of people don't understand, and I don't think for some reason, a lot of club owners still don't fully understand, how much it really costs. But also, more importantly, kids, there's this weird thing happening right now where, the electronic music is just what they know, iPods, little screens, and all this stuff, and the idea of going to see a band with horns and maybe, God forbid, strings, it's something that kids are missing out on right now.
Sure.
And I know not all across the board, but definitely it's getting easier and easier to kind of reduce your band members, in the name of technology,
right.
Which is attractive to a certain degree, but I believe you lose something. There's something super magical about just some humans playing with each other.
Exactly.
So I'll always embrace all those things together, and hopefully by my end of my life, be able to really fuse them all into a show.
True.
That'd be more of an experience than just your average start finish.
That's what's up. Well, we're looking forward to that. We like that. That's what's up. And then you kind of got a trinity, really, because you got the acoustic thing too. Is that?
Yeah.
I hear you always talking about ninja gigs. Are the ninja gigs acoustic? Is that what they are, or what are the ninja gigs?
Ninja gigs are usually acoustic.
So you got the spaceship. That's the
Sometimes
MIDI
I get a little.
scene.
Yeah. Sometimes I get a little itchy, and I include spaceship sets in my
into the ninja gig.
Acoustic
All
gig.
right.
Yeah.
But then we also got the acoustic gig and the ninja scene.
Yeah.
Then we got the band scene.
Yeah.
So what do you like about the acoustic sets?
It's super. I've got a lot of songs, many more than just the 2 albums, and
sure.
Just tons of songs, and a lot of songs that I don't necessarily want to play with a full band, or that people that are coming out to dance and have a good time, I don't necessarily want to lay on them. And so when people come out to an acoustic gig, more often than not, they want to listen to lyrics pretty intensely, and so I can just bust out into anything. Right. I can stop in the middle of the song, do a weird Boyz II Men cover. I can do whatever I want, and so there's that freedom. And a lot of people that like my words, they'll always be like, "Man, just do an acoustic tour and everything."
Right.
But my ego is it's really hard. It's there's something about having a bunch of guys with you. So there's only three people there. At least you got these guys with you.
Truly.
You can
That's
deliver.
what's up. Nice, man. Well, I think that's a good point probably to jump off into a song. We got your guitar down here.
Yeah.
I think because of the bass coming through, let's see if we can get you as close into the mic as possible and try to get a good mix going on the board here. Then I'm going to take out this thing here that presses the sound. All right.
You have more.
So get a little sound check on it and tell us how you're getting the monitor in your headphones. It's the mix that's going through, so...
I don't have any guitar in my monitor yet.
There you go.
Well, not yet, but...
Yo, for the listeners, if you're just tuning in, you're in tune to KWVA Eugene, 88.1 FM local, KWVAradio.org online. This is the Roots and Culture Radio program, and we are up live with Alcyon Massive in the building, talking about the music, getting into some other topics, and some acoustic vibes coming up here shortly. Alcyon has a show down at Cosmic tonight. That's at, I believe, 8th and Charlton, and a big, nice show, full band, horn section, everything. I'm looking forward to it. Doors are opening right now, kind of a thing, and as soon as he gets off the air here, he'll be bombing over there to get up on the stage over there. So as soon as we're done here, if you feel like it, you can go do your thing over there.
Yeah, I go on at 11.
Oh, at 11. All
yeah,
right. So what time does Neil kick off?
Neil and the Current start at 9.
All right, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So Neil will be up before I'm off the air.
Yeah.
And you'll be going up shortly after we're off the air. So that's what's up.
Yes, sir.
All right, everybody knows. So if you don't want to see Neil, which I don't recommend, from what I hear, seeing Neil is a good thing. You could stick around and listen to all of Roots and Culture Radio.
Word. I don't have my guitar in the monitor yet, but I can hear it on the. If you can hear it, I'm good.
Are you not getting it through over there? Are you getting your vocals over there?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I rep the state that I love, just south of Washington, north of California, from the 503 to the 541. Let me see those O's up if you're loving Oregon. Yep, I rep state that I love, just south of Washington, north of California, from the 503 to the 541. Let me see your O's up if you're loving Oregon. Yeah. Low O, baby, got her own flow, baby, got her own style, so we gotta let her know, light it up, turn it up, we's about to burn it up, yo. Never mind the chemicals, we only want the good stuff, fresh from the farm to the fork, catch the kids Waldorfing in the woods hardcore. We keeping the dream alive, cause in abundance we thrive, we cultivate paradise and keep heaven on earth. I put in my work, but still working on my evolution, and making sure to keep it pure when it comes to my music, cause it occurred to me a while ago that I could lose it if I keep a slipping up and boozing, and I'm choosing better choices these days over the darker days when I was a starving artist, always underpaid. Now I got it made, found a place for myself. I'm a rep Southern Oregon, yeah, to my death. I rep the state that I love, just south of Washington, north of California, from the 503 to the 541. Let me see those O's up if you're loving Oregon. Yep, I rep state that I love, just south of Washington, north of California, from the 503 to the 541. Let me see those O's up if you're loving Oregon. Yeah. No sales tax, how you like that? Why you think I got the pound of berries in my backpack? Black strap, mix it with the brags now. Alkaline the body, cause I got the straight facts now. Never back down, pun that Monsanto. Oregon, we lay the smack down on GMOs. Protect the land by any means necessary. Carry out this obligation, keep the land blessed for the next 7 generations. No escaping the fact when you're blazing up fast. Amazing things can happen if you just happen to live in the moment and don't hold on to the things of the past that hold you back and prevent you from traversing your past. So let it out, breathe. Let it go. It's a mellow mood in Oregon, just to let you know, no doubt. Mad respect to everybody chilling in the O. Let her know where you're at. I rep the state that I love, just south of Washington, north of California, from the 503 to the 541. Let me see those O's up if you're loving Oregon. Yeah, I rep.
All right, that's what's up. Alcyon Massive sounding nice in the studio down here at KWVA. Big respect, King. Music sounding good.
Thanks, man.
I think we got to mix it work. You still weren't getting guitar in the headphones, huh?
No, but if you're getting
yeah. All right, so we got to check on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So one thing we didn't really go like pull it back and really do this sort of biographical thing, and I think we've done that before in those levels. But one part of that I want to get back into is the name, of course, Alcyon Massive. We're talking about stars, and you got the band, the Pleiadians, and we're talking about spaceships.
Yeah.
So let's get into that. Like, what's the deal with the intergalactic cosmic aspect? And we're even at cosmic tonight, you know?
Yeah. No, totally. In 2001, I had an experience where I lost a friend of mine who was in a crash. He crashed his motorcycle, and it just changed my life forever. And I went from like being this frat boy to like meeting these hippie kids and started hanging out with them and doing certain things, and really getting in touch with some more cosmic principles than have ever been presented to me in my life. And on a certain night, I went out to the beach, and it was like the dead of night, and I heard this voice, whether it was from my own head or from the stars or whatever you want to say. It was saying a word that I've never really heard before, and I was like, Alcyon. And I came back the next morning to my friends, and they're all like, I'm like, yeah, I think my name's Alcyon, or Halcyon, I think I said at the time. Sure. Because I didn't know what the word Alcyon even was. Halcyon. You knew Halcyon. I knew Halcyon from Halcyon days, old like a Tracy Lords house record or something.
But that whole like house movement, there was a lot of Halcyon things out there.
Yeah.
Halcyon on and on. And do you remember them?
Yeah. One of my favorite tracks, man. Off the I got that off the Hackers soundtrack.
Okay.
Great tune. But Anyway, so over the years, like it's like unfolded in this crazy way where, the John Valo Melchizedek books were presented to me, and David Icke and all this other stuff, and so all of a sudden I just started, okay, cool. So I started looking up to the Pleiades when I was doing my meditations, and I was like, all right, let's do this. Send me some information, send me some people, and my life's kind of just unfolded in this awesome way where people that are pretty galactic, galactivated, as I like to say, are around me, and willing to help. The same vision that I have in my head. It's like a mutual thing. So in that, with that being said, I start to call these people Pleiadians.
Sure. Let's get on that real quick and then come back to the stars and thing. Is that's an experience that you feel like you strongly had when you put your intention in a certain way, the world kind of just brings that vibe to you? Would you say that that's the case?
For everybody, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that seems to be like the secret, that movie, The Secret.
Right. Exactly.
It's out there now. I mean, like, this is something that's universally true and almost can be scientifically proven.
Right.
With the scientific method. Like Allison and I still don't have, like, we're working on having our vision board kind of thing.
Sure.
And I had a friend turn to me the other day, and he's like, this guy's opening up a dispensary, and he's like, look at me, and he's a real spiritual Christian guy, awesome dude, great family. And he's like 40 something. He's like, so are you manifesting your day on a daily basis when you wake up in the morning? Like, dead serious question during dinner.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. He's like, well, you should be.
It's true.
And I was like, you're right, man. I definitely should be. So, working on it all the time, for sure.
Yeah.
But it's something I believe. Yeah.
That's what's up. All right. So then forward into the stars. So what's the significance, other than being called to Alcyon, what's the significance of the Pleiades?
As I've come to know it, it seems to be a source of consciousness, of like more evolved intelligence than anything I've seen on Earth.
Is this where Anu and the Anunnaki come from, or is that a different?
No.
A
whole different ball game.
All
as
right.
far as what I believe in my heart and anything I've researched, but it's such a dicey ball game.
Sure.
There's a lot of thin soup being dished out, for $500 a lecture.
Right.
And so that's I just hold it I as a peaceful place, and in my heart I hold the truth that Earth and the human consciousness that we experience is somewhat of a seed consciousness from another place in either this universe or another universe. But just like a flower, or just like a mushroom spore can, penetrate the Earth's atmosphere, and live on today, and do life with humans. Just consciousness can travel the same way, I believe. So that's what I believe the Pleiades is like the seed cluster from which our consciousness sprang. Not to say that it's God, not to say that they're gods or the creators of us.
Interesting. So do you have any concept, like tangible concept of how that consciousness came to Earth?
Without getting myself in trouble here, there's certain things that have been reported by people when they have near-death experiences.
True.
And the Tibetan lamas that get to these high states, on command. And it seems that there's this like toroidal vortex type of machine or something that draws you into this light or into another place, right?
Sure.
And it's very comforting and yet very alien at the same time. And so I find this really weird that our brains are wired this way and have stuff in them, that we can access and trigger to make these experiences happen. Right. And so I think it's something like that, where it's like, all it takes is one human to reach that level, right? And I like to think of it like this. If we were all walking around as untuned instruments, right? If we were just like a violin or something like that, we're all untuned. All of a sudden, if one consciousness came to somebody, through a dream, through a meditation, through an alternate state of consciousness, and all of a sudden that person got tuned up, so to speak, all it would take is if him going up to somebody else and be like, tune up me. Just like you could tune off my guitar right now.
Yeah.
Right? Once something's fully tuned. So I believe it kind of happened like that. And just like, Buddha walked around, there's been prophets and messengers, for every age. And now we have like the internet. So, I mean, we really don't need I hope we don't need another prophet.
Is that, do you think like the experience of ones that have, left the flesh momentarily and come forward and been able to talk their stories and things like that, is that a real reality, do you think? Or is that just like a thing that your head, like, is it your head can tell you, like, what's real is what's in your head? Or is it a universal reality that's the same reality for more than just that person?
I believe it's different for everybody. I believe personally that we create our heavens, we create our paradises.
True.
With conscious action and conscious thought. And I've been building mine, since I started thinking like that, all the time. I'm in a beautiful place, with a good feeling in my heart. I'm like, I take a picture. I'm like, I want this part, I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm packing heavy. Like if you told me tomorrow, Charlie, you're getting on a plane, you have no idea where you're going. You could be in Antarctica, you could be in Jamaica, you have no idea. I pack like everything I can, for multiple weather situations, so I'm golden when I'm there. And so spiritually, I've just been like, anything I learn about the afterlife, I'm like, okay, I'm try to plan a little bit, do a little vision work. But yeah, I don't think everybody's experiences are the same. And I don't think everybody's heaven is the same. And I don't know. I don't know if it's just in the head, or if it's something that is a universal reality for everybody when they pass. But it's very interesting to me. It's the crux of, it's like the meat of where I spend most of my studies.
For sure. Yo, and I don't want to put you in a box, but we're talking about spirituality there, and how would you define your spirituality if you could? Like, we definitely hear talk of Rastafari and themes of Rastafari. We also know about these elements that we're talking about now, as well as Native American indigenous elements as well. Like, how do you kind of, not really define, but how do you conceive of your own spiritual reality?
At this point, I would consider myself, if I were to put a box on myself, it would be a Christian, in the sense of I was raised Christian and gave my life to Christ at 14. And it's a very spiritual experience. And as I learned about Rastafari, it grew. I don't know, something grew from that Christianity or that Christian perspective. And so then, without claiming on the East Coast, I never considered myself Rastafari, until a certain point, and I started identifying with it more the more music I heard, and the more the culture I experienced. But for a long time, I was trying to disprove Jesus's existence and all that. And so in those times, I experimented, and I continued to, I try, if somebody's got a good prayer in a different language, or an interesting avatar, that I find interesting, I'll try it out sometimes. But I used to be a lot more open to that. And so after sitting there and chanting all these things that I had no idea what I was saying, praying to gods that were very unfamiliar to me, through an experience or two where I was very scared, I called out for Jesus. It just naturally came out. And this white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus comes floating out, and I'm like, whoa. And I'm like, no. And then all of a sudden it burst into all these like rainbow colors and and it grabbed my heart, and it exploded with love. And I'm like, and I was like, it broke down like my whole problem with Jesus, which was just this image, that was presented to me and all the stories that I didn't agree with. Anyway, so I kind of consider myself now a Christian, and I say Rasta when, or Rastafari when I'm around brethren, Rastafari brethren or sister, or people that are interested in talking about that. But for the most part, I say Christian. That being said, I was out to dinner with my keyboardist parents, who are Christian, and they said to me, like, when this got brought up, they said, well, you do believe that Jesus Christ is the only Son of God and died on the cross for your sins and resurrected on the third day. And I was like, yes. And because I didn't have to lie, you know,
Right.
yes, there's a place in my heart where that is very true, because it has to be for my faith.
Sure.
My faith isn't anything new without that.
Right.
That being said, I don't know about a lot of things in this world, so I have faith in not just Jesus Christ, but and not just Haile Selassie, but many things, things that uplift humanity, things that are good for us.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So as far as my spirituality, I would say there's so many people that have said my religion is love.
Right. Yeah.
That's where I would really rest in.
Sure.
Just so then nobody can get blah, 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 blah. I'm like, love is love.
Yeah. Nah, man, you're putting it out there. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Yo, let's get into a next song, man. You got another acoustic thing for us?
Sure. Can I do an old one?
Yeah, man. Play whatever you want.
It's for all my rainbow family worldwide. Listen as the morning breeze caresses your presence. For behind these winds there are subtle energies. The angels dance amongst these trees, these hills and valleys. So have respect for these mountains, please. We are children of Jah light, we are children of Jah truth. In the shifting of perception towards a world where I am you. So in Lakesh Namaste, Walaikum Salam. Om Shalom, Om Shalom, Om Shalom. This is the family, welcome home. Always remember that the earth is your home, and you got a family wherever you roam. So give respect where respect is due, and let no trouble follow you. Lord knows those open roads are calling. Peace be with you on your way. Jah knows your home is where your head lay. Yeah, as I untie my boots, dry my socks upon the river rock, dive into the water as it rushes through my dreadlocks. Wash them clean with a little Dr. Bronner's as I sit upon the bank and give thanks for my little bit of. And watch the birds for the messages. Woe to the wicked, for they not know what they messing with. We speak with the tongues of the ancient souls, the same ones gunned down generations ago. Yo, we here to spread the story of the white buffalo. Peaceful vibrations wherever we go. In tune with the line and its natural flow. Yo, we strictly organic, cause we reap what we sow. Yo, it ain't that hard, it doesn't take a genius. You can start with a book like the 4 Agreements. Yo, come on family, get into the fire. This is family, welcome home. I always remember that the earth is your home. And you got a family wherever you roam. So give respect where respect is due, and let no trouble follow you. Lord knows those open roads are calling. Peace be with you on your way. Jah knows your home is where your head lay.
Tune.
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah.
Yo, fam, so if you are just tuning in, once again, this is Roots and Culture Radio right here on KWVA. And we are up live with Alcyon Massive in the studio, bringing us the interview vibes, bringing us the acoustic music. He got a big show at Cosmic Pizza tonight. We're looking forward to that. Show starts around 9 o'clock. So in about 5 minutes, he's going to be up hitting the stage at 11. Full bands, it's going to be a nice show through and through. Yo, man, one thing we haven't talked about with you is festivals, right?
Yeah.
Most people that have seen you, at least up in these parts, saw you because they saw you at a festival somewhere. You've been playing grip of festivals. You've been a part of, you're even rocking the gear in here. You got the artwork styles that are, you've had booths at festivals. You're very well integrated into the festivals. I think festivals play a special role for you, or a special place in your heart. Talk to me about why festivals are important.
The Dalai Lama said, in order to save the world, 2 things are needed: more picnics and more festivals.
Oh, yeah?
And at one point, and amongst other things. And to me, the festival life is something that is as close to a bohemian, nomadic lifestyle that we can get to this day and age, of being so intertwined with social media and computers and screens and such. Festivals are fantastic for getting everybody out and creating these micro communities where things happen, people pull together, in an incredible way that you just don't see in other situations usually, in my opinion. And I mean, somebody's like missing this, you know, it's like, hey, do you have that? So they have that, you know, and then they open up in dialogue, hey, come over here, you know, if we have some food, and you know, all of a sudden these relationships start happening, and that it doesn't stop there. That's the coolest part about the festival, is that these experiences that people have of gathering and communing and you know, living a lifestyle just temporarily, you know, that they normally would reserve for never, maybe, you know. It allows them a space, hold space for them to experience things like that, and then they get to go back into their work, back into their family life, you know, back into the regular way of things, you know, so to speak. Some of them, yeah. Some people get to keep going. You know, I see it as something like it just creates the I went to Symbiosis down in California. I got hired to do an acoustic gig there. Nice. And Spungle was playing. I've never been able to see him.
People have been talking big.
He's gonna be up here. I'm gonna be at that show. I love Spungle. But anyway, I noticed that like they were holding the torch for health, you know, a healthy show. All vegan, organic, tons of yoga lectures. They had like, you know, all these elders there giving lectures every day, you know, scientists giving lectures. And it occurred to me that, because I was like, who can go to a 5-day festival? That's insane. You know, who can go to a 7-day festival, a week-long festival? Who can go to a festival in Costa Rica? You know, big up Envision right now, you know. And it occurred to me that people that really want to, and people all of a sudden, it's like, you don't go there for like the medicines and for like, you know, to go get high, so to speak, you know, and like have just that. If you're really going for the right reasons, you're going for the good music, and you're learning at these other lectures on how to get healthier. And the more healthy decisions you start making in your life, the more aligned you become with your true spirit. And what better place to like celebrate that and those kinds of things than at a festival. So
it's real.
You know, people like I've learned myself like how to eat a lot better, you know, from being in those experiences.
That's impressive, considering how much fried food, you know, like festival food tends to be kind of
it can be terrible, man. But the heady festivals, though, I mean, like the thing, like I'll big up Beloved, you know, I think they really hold the torch for the way festivals should be kind of going, where I mean, they cap it at whatever, 1,100 people.
Yeah, it's small,
and so it keeps the community small and collected. And the thing I really love about him is that they do it without names. You know, they sell out their tickets without dropping a name on the flyer at this point, because the intention is so strong behind the festival. So I think that's what's you know, important, is to find the festival that aligns with your intentions, and at first, you know, before you start exploring, and then go from there. If you're not already a festival goer, you know. Man, I mean, if I was 16 nowadays, I mean, my calendar would be marked from the end of school to the beginning of school with festivals.
That's the problem. I was just reasoning with somebody today about that Frozen event that had to move theirs around a little bit this year, because there are events like, I mean, multiple events every weekend now. Like, if you're even just looking at the West Coast, you know, any given weekend from like March, you might be safe being the only event on a weekend, but like mid-May through September, guarantee 3 other big events going on your weekend. Whatever. So, but if it's small and it's focused intention, then you're not worried about what other people are doing. You know?
Right, and that's the idea, you know, and let the people that are just trying to make money, because that's an aspect of it, you know, but it should never be the goal. It should always be to provide space for people to, like, you know, live out that intention behind the festival.
True.
Yeah. So they can make a lot of money, you know, so it's like great, you know, toss a good fundraiser behind it, and it's amazing what you can do.
Yeah. You know, one thing that's always been sort of an issue for me is like, not even from an environmental perspective only, but there's a certain unsustainability of festivals, right? Like, it's a super climax event because, you know, people are driving from all over, they're taking time off of work, or, you know, maybe their economy is built into the festival, so they're not. But for other people taking time off of work, they're spending money. Again, like, so maybe the 1 week-long festival you can pull off if that's like your thing you do every year, and there are people like that. But now that we got all these festivals all the time like this, it becomes problematic. It raises the question, should it only be like a climax event where, you know, you think back to back in the day, and like the origin of some of the Grange halls and things like that, it'd be like a monthly celebration of some kind, a monthly square dance in these parts or something like that, you know, or the monthly dance hall, or like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a everyday thing like some of the festivals are turning into now.
Right.
But at the same time, I think most festival people would like try to say that this is like the utopian model, that we can live this way. Like ideally the festival wouldn't end and we would just live this way.
Yeah.
Where are you in that like spectrum?
Well, like being that I've been in the booth side of a festival, and the entertainer side, and at this point, all different points. I mean, I got on the chair for the barter fair out with Kilma, you know, and it was like, man, it is hard. It is hard to throw a festival and all that stuff. But as far as attending it all the time, or having them all the time, it's a great way for people to make money. It's you know, if you're an entrepreneur or you're good at something, it's kind of difficult in this day and age, all the time. If you don't have credit, or you know, you don't know about the legalities of starting an LLC, all that kind of stuff. Those are awesome. I mean, it's like you can start it up, and if you start killing it there at a festival, you can really do well for yourself. I have a number of friends that started at festivals, and now that's their job. You know, they have an office somewhere, blah blah blah. So on that aspect, I think it's great. I call it, you just don't want to get lost in the bliss, and I've been there. I toured with Fish for a while, you know, a little bit, and it was just like, you see it all over the place. Kids just get lost in the bliss, and it's like, yeah, I understand you're making hemp necklaces, and like, you know, you have just enough almond milk to get by, you know, but it's
what are you gonna do when you got arthritis and you can't make hemp necklaces anymore?
Yeah, there's, you know, and that's why I left the Fish scene, you know. Is like I stepped over enough buddies that were just, you know, nodded out, you know, on the lot, and I was like, come on, you guys. So my mission at this point is to eventually be a booth. I want not a music booth, not an art booth, but just like a cool, safe booth where there's extra blankets, extra like clothes, vegan, warm food, a couple like really nice mamas, you know, like that are like comforting.
You gonna sell this food, or you like undercut?
No. Well, I didn't think about it like that. Of course, I'd want to give it for free, but at the same time, no, I don't want to. Stepping on toes is not something you want to do in a micro community.
Nah, that's the truth.
No, that's not with the food people either, man. I mean, it's savage. Like, you know, they get crazy.
Yeah, there's big money in the food booth.
Yeah,
you gotta be careful.
Yeah,
that's what's up, man. So I love it. You got a name for the booth already? Is it like a Pleiadian space or something?
No. I'm tempted not. I don't want to call it anything like that. Anything like too cosmic, because I don't want to attract the people that. Yeah, the idea is this is like the landing pad. Maybe it'd be called a landing pad. You know, like something that's super grounding and safe. Because there's too many times I've been at a festival as a kid, you know, younger, and before I was a parent, and like wandering around at 3:00 in the morning because I didn't bring my sleeping bag, right? Didn't have a tent. You know, I'm like, isn't there like something here? Like, isn't there some kind of like organization that takes care of people that made bad decisions?
Right.
And so I just think that's a very necessary aspect of the festival life, is dealing with the kind of shadowy aspect of life. And I mean, even if you cut your toe at a festival, it's, you know, tough to deal with. So there needs to be a part of the safety camp, you know. Yeah,
so like maybe an extension of sort of like medical space, but then like
like big ups to Whitebird. Yeah. You know, everything you guys do. Yeah, that stuff is just like, you know, totally God's work that they do. And, totally. That keeps everybody. It's like, well, at least you got a spot. You know what I mean? Like, people can know, oh, go there. You know, you can get fixed up. And that, from what I understand, I never attended a Jerry show, you know, a Dead show with Jerry, but the family tells me all the time that that's what it was like back in the day. I mean, that's why so many people love. That's why so many people take that so seriously and have such a good, solid spot for the Grateful Dead family in their heart, because it was like, if you were wandering around with no shirt on and it was 40 degrees outside and you looked hungry and, you know, whatever, tripped out, they're like, hey, come here, here's some food, and, you know, and then from there it's like, those are your brothers and sisters, people that take care of you in those states. So anyway, I promote that kind of community.
That's what's up. All right, man. So we're gonna see more of that coming out of the Alcyon camp. We'll find the landing pad in the near future, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure, man.
That's what's up. Coming to a festival near you. All right. So you got another song for us?
Sure. We got time?
Yeah, man. We can do another.
Okay. I'll do a kind of a funny one. It's a new one. It's not done yet at all.
All right.
Yeah. I'll start it up here. No, I'll do it down there. An infinite amount of lessons I have learned while traveling up the mountains my whole life. Been in and out of trouble, seen struggle after struggle, but I remain humble if I walk in July. Every time the devil tries to pull me down, I hold my meditation stronger. I focus and concentrate, be mindful of the retrogrades, the influence the planets have upon us. As I smoke my Mary, giving ices for me actions, give positive envision, good things on the horizon. Stay smiling even when I know they straight lying, cause Jah knows the wicked them are born up in the fire. Mess with the cove and you're gonna get the lion paw. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Mess with the cove and you get the lion paw. Who are you to judge me? Talking badness only makes you look ugly. Only got room for fam who can love me. So if you go and spread lies, you should know your bad vibes can't touch me. Who are you to judge me? Talking badness only makes you look ugly. Only got room for fam who can love me. So if you go and spread lies, you should know your bad vibes can't touch me. Wow. But first things first, now it's time to work. One foot in front of the other, I'm on my quest to learn about this magical miracle taking place in the passage of spiritual teachings over the ages and incarnations of sages up in the matrix, explaining merkabic basics and teaches me how to shapeshift. Crazy to say the least, it's sacred but non-secret. Who speaketh that doesn't know it? If you know it, don't speak it. Word. Oh. Who are you to judge me? Talking badness only makes you look ugly. Only got room for fam who can love me. So if you go and spread lies, you should know your bad vibes won't touch me. Who are you to judge me? Talking badness only makes you look ugly. Only got room for fam who can love me. So if you go and spread lies, you should know your bad vibes can't touch me. Wow!
Yo, that's what's up, Reg, and that's fire right there. I know that's not going to be on the new album, though, huh?
No. I got back into reggae again.
I know.
It's like,
how are you telling me that's not reggae?
No, man, that's not on the new album. What's going to probably happen is, Soul Science is going to come out, hella soon. I'm going to get my boy Deegan up here, hopefully, and Bobby One Sock from the original drummer for Indubious. Get him up here and work on the album. Then come with the fire. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of reggae vibe.
Yeah,
like the maturity, I
just held it back just to try, but it's like it pulls me back like a current in a wave, man.
Well, it's good, man. You were talking about how you had to sit back and try to do you authentically.
Yeah.
And if trying to do something else pulls you forward into reggae again, it says something about who you are, like
Absolutely.
what really calls to your heart. And I think that's why that song right there to me was fire, man. Like, as much as I love the Dedication songs, which are big songs, everybody, if you like the music, I encourage you to find it somewhere at the show tonight and pick it up. But I feel like that came with the next level of maturity and like passion in your voice, like a next kind of soul reaching that touched some new elements. So I like it, man. That sounds good.
It's definitely, there's some more real Alcyon coming up. Well, one thing I want to say real quick is that I just put out the highest stuff I had on the last two albums. You know what I'm saying? Like just pure bliss. I like the stuff that I knew would like only affect people or try to in a positive way. Right. What that created was an image of myself that was not true. Like it's way off of my real personality. And I'm not drinking anymore right now, but it's like you catch me with a beer, you'll catch me cussing, you'll catch me and all these things, and a lot of people thought I was this like
perfect
walking much more on the path or whatever, so to speak. And I try my best, but
I mean you saw Bob Marley with a beer, you saw, I mean, like,
I don't think anything at all is wrong. Truly, the beer thing to me is just something I realized. I was just like, okay, I know I don't need a beer. I just wanted a beer, and so this is like a little test I'm doing for myself right now. But one thing I realized is that the spirit comes through super stronger when I don't drink, when I sing.
Right.
Even just a beer or two or whatever, messes with the words. It's great for relaxing. Whatever. But anyway, the herbs, like the herbal teas and stuff like that.
I think that's actually an important topic right there, on being real in general. And we talked about that earlier, and we're talking about it again now. I think artists are so often held on a pedestal, and I think certain artists go off and say some things that suddenly their listeners are like, "Yo, I don't agree with that at all." Like you see it in reggae all the time with artists that, like, I mean, we'll use Sizzle as an example. He's a classic example of people heard like Black Woman and Child or certain albums, records, and things like that, and they're like, yo, this artist right here is like touching the deepest deep depths, you know? Right. And then they hear some gun tune or gal tune and they're like, oh, Fireburn, Sizzler, right.
Yeah.
And no man is perfect. All flesh is weak, and there's a certain element in that. Is that been hard for you to like wrestle with, as people have expectations that you're a certain person, because you do usually have to put your best foot forward when you're making a public appearance of some kind, so they do see you in a certain light, but then there's the real you that has flaws and is a real person. Right. Is that hard?
Not just like with just me and the music thing, but really opinions from anybody at this point without children. I'm like, whatever, you know, like whatever. Like, you have no idea what it's like once you're in charge of another human being.
It's real.
And you start making decisions, like, you know, like I'll make a decision like, oh man, I want that piece of pie, you know, like normally I wouldn't do that, but I just like watch a kid all day, whatever, you know.
Man, next level exhaustion.
And that's what it is, man. It's people they don't know when they're catching me, and so sometimes I just got yelled at because I screwed up or something, you know, and like my lady's not happy with me, and like my, you know, clients aren't happy, whatever that I'm doing graphics for, you know, and like I just get off the phone and somebody comes up, they're like, yo, Alcyon, like, what's up? Like, why aren't you, I heard you're like not doing this or blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, I'm just a jerk, you know, or whatever in the moment. And so, yeah, I'd like to remind everybody to always hold space for everybody in your life to be the person they are that day. You know, let them, everybody's got a lot going on at any moment. So if you're mad at an artist, give them some time. They'll work it out. Usually, Sizzler did. You know, he came around. Like I think, I'm pretty sure.
I think he's still making money with music.
I was certainly confused. I was just getting into Sizzler, and then I moved it over here in the project. Was it Project Groundation? Yeah, and and I was just like, what is going on? I wish there was a Jamaican noisy at that point, you know.
But like you brought up earlier with Kendrick and all of these artists, Joey Badass and them, that there's a certain reality, a certain level of consciousness that's about talking about what's real in your medi and what you're seeing around you. I'm not saying promoting misogyny or promoting guns or that kind of level is a good thing, but to the degree that it's just showing the reality that ones are coming from, it's the next level, you know, and ones that live, you know, a fairly cushy Northwest lifestyle out here. It's on the same level as parenting. It's hard to judge if you haven't really walked in those shoes. You know?
I can't imagine. I can't. But and another thing I'll say is listening to gangster rap is highly motivational for making money.
True.
If you're a stoner hippie, sitting and, you know, doing nothing and just rolling joints or whatever, like start listening to some gangster rap, and they'll remind you that there's people out there making money. You know, you gotta be on your grind, so to speak. And that's something I'm trying to teach. You know, I used to be anti-money, but I've lived now in Cave Junction for a while, near Cave Junction, where there's, you know, it's a pretty desperate situation in certain places, and man, it just really starts making you realize, like, okay, you got to take steps in this life to secure some kind of financial security for yourself, or try to.
You got to be smart, man. You can't waste your life chasing after money. That's a whole different experience.
Amen.
I mean, if you had something to say, go for it. But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying you can't live that lifestyle, but you can't be always shucking it away, because there are bills to pay. People gotta eat. Like, even if you want to just grow your own food and build your own house and sew your own clothes, you probably ain't growing cotton to sew those clothes, you know? You probably aren't. You still probably using an iPhone or some kind of a vibe like that. So there's money makes the world go round on a certain level, and to a certain degree we got to rely on Western medicine sometimes too, and you know, there's just elements that we need money for. And, you know, governments usurped land, so land ain't really even like fully free anymore, and it's a funny vibe. So we got to take care of ourselves and be smart, for sure.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, we were talking about Bible vibes earlier, or at least Christian vibes earlier too, and I think it's a similar topic to what you've been talking about, that the reality is there's no part of the Bible that says, like, sit back and let God just do everything for you. You know, there might maybe, like, don't collect too much wealth, like, don't take more than bread than you need for that day, because I'll provide more bread for you tomorrow. But anytime something happens, it's because people like went out and did it. You know what I'm saying? Like people went into battle and God said, yo, I'm gonna help you in battle.
Right.
But the people actually had to go into battle themselves. And I think that's the lesson for people, similar to what you're saying at least, is that you can't just sit back and let the world pass you by and happen in front of you. You got to set the intentions like we were talking earlier.
Right.
And really make things happen.
Yep.
Speaking of setting intentions, one kind of last question on the topic of your goals and mission is just that. What ultimately do you want to do with, I mean, I think the music is part of it. That's part of what we're talking about, but you're talking about the landing space and bigger vision there too. What's your mission with your project and your life and your work?
I mean, for now it's to create the financial security just from what I'm doing right now for myself and my family. Once that's achieved, then to start branching out from there. And the people that are already working with me, they all have their own dreams beyond just working with me. Yeah. And to be able to help them achieve their goals and their dreams, and then for them to branch out and help the people around them. That's what I truly want with as far as making the money aspect, as far as the mission, just to create more space to work with. I keep meeting people on like a daily basis that are doing one thing or another, to uplift humanity or create awesome space in their own communities. And so to just keep finding these people and keep, the universe aligning me with those kinds of situations, so that, my own little landing space and all that kind of stuff. I want that to always kind of be a smaller kind of enterprise, and never get big enough where I can't be with my family. That's the important thing.
Big respect.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
that's what's up, yo. So for listeners, once again, this is KWVA Eugene, and we are reasoning with Alcyon Massive. He's got a big show in, it's already started with the opener at this point. Down at Cosmic with his band, the Pleiadians. He's got a new album, Soul Science, gonna be released fairly soon. We didn't talk about it, but I think there's an acoustic project in the future too. Any final comments for listeners tonight?
Big up King Toby and the Unification movement. Big up all the listeners. But thanks for having me here, man. You've been an incredible presence on my Facebook feed, and it's been nice getting to know you and seeing your works, man. So
yeah, man.
Big up King Toby, and big up all the other awesome DJs around here and people doing good works. Big up Eugene.
That's what's up. All right, family, so we're going to hit you off with a little bit more music from Alcyon Massive before we get into the rest of the set here. But do remember, I want to see you down there at the show tonight. So Cosmic Pizza, show already started, so you can head down there whenever you want. Alcyon Massive is going to be up on stage in about an hour and a half, I believe, and that's what's up. All right, once again, Roots and Culture Radio right here on KWVA Eugene.